Hi, it's Kayla, and I just got back from a trip to Disneyland, and I did some vlogging while I was there, so you'll get to see some fun footage from my trip coming up in just 1 minute. But really quick, I wanted to talk about what it's like being a visually impaired person at Disney and how accessible the Disney parks are. And I'm just lumping Disneyland and Disney World in together because I've been to both and they're pretty much the same in this regard. So some people may wonder, why would a blind person even want to go to Disney when it's such a visual place? And it is a very visual place. Disney is all about the little details, and I'm not gonna lie, that sucks. Going to Disney is one of the very few times I actually sit and think, man, I wish I could see. But that's not gonna stop me from going. I love Disney, and I'm still gonna go whether I can see or not. And it's still fun, you know, it's the atmosphere and the sounds and the food and the music and the rides. It's still fun even if you can't see. So if you're visually impaired and you're considering whether or not you should go to Disney because you're not sure if you would have fun if you can't see, I say definitely go. And my advice to you, and really to anyone planning a Disney trip, is to do some research. Google it, read about it. There's a lot of blogs and information on the Disney website, so you can kind of know what to expect and what you want to do, and you can read about what things look like. I talk a little bit later in the video about my specific park plans, strategy, so stay tuned for that. And as far as accessibility goes, I think Disney does a really great job of trying to accommodate everyone. For vision impairments, they have an audio description device that you can rent at the parks, which describes visual things in the parks and on the rides. I talk about that a little bit later in the video, so stay tuned for that as well. And also, we saw 2 shows while we were there, and they were able to get us seats in the front row, which is really great for me to be close so that I can see as much as possible. Side note, one of those shows was Frozen Live, which was my favorite thing we did on the trip. It was awesome, and I am really grateful that they were able to accommodate me and get me seats so close so that I was able to see a little bit of the show. And they also have a few rides that load on a moving sidewalk, so the ground is moving and you're trying to get into this ride vehicle, which is also moving, which can be a little difficult. And they were able to slow that down for me to give me a little more time and to make it easier for me. And they were really good about guiding me and helping me get into the ride vehicle. They also have what they call companion restrooms, which are like the handicap bathrooms. That's just one stall, because if you're visually impaired, you know what a nightmare crowded public bathrooms are. So they have those, and they're listed on the app, so you can find them on there, so you don't have to like walk around forever looking for one. And they also have braille and tactile maps and guidebooks. I didn't use those, but they have them, and they're just really willing to help. If you go to guest relations when you get there, you can talk to someone about your specific needs or concerns, and they can discuss with you what they can do for you and how they can help. And I think they're really great. They also seem to be very accommodating for all disabilities, including hearing impairments and mobility disabilities. However, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't have firsthand experience of how accessible it is for those individuals. So please let me know down in the comments your experience with Disney accessibility or inaccessibility, if that was your experience, because I'd really like to know. And now, without further ado, here's some fun footage from my trip.
Hi, it's Kayla, and I'm in Disneyland in California for the very first time. I love Disney, and I've been to Disney World a handful of times, but I've never been to Disneyland. It's been on my bucket list for forever, and I'm super excited to be here. And I'm sporting this mini dress. It's couture. My stepmom made it for me, so shout out to her. And I'm here with my husband. He's my cameraman. So yeah, I'm really excited. Like that? my park plans that I've made. So I did a ton of research to make sure I had a plan and was using my time efficiently, because it wastes a lot of time to be like, oh, what should we do next? Where is that? What is that? And because when you're visually impaired, you can't just look around and say, oh, that looks cool, let's go do that. So I researched everything and made a chart of the things I wanted to do. So this is my handy chart. So it has the name of the attraction, and then it has a column for the part of the park it's in, like Fantasyland or Adventureland, and then it has the third column is what priority it is for me. So like number 1 is I will absolutely die if I leave without doing it, and 5, it goes all the way through 5, which is like maybe if we have time, and if the ride has fast pass. And then the next column is if it's indoor, because I don't want to ride anything in the rain and get wet, so we know what we can ride if it rains. And then the last column is if the ride has audio description, which just describes visual things in the ride. And I can't read this, I printed it out for my husband to read, but since I made it, I kind of know it like the back of my hand, so yeah. We're in line for Small World. It's like the OG classic Disneyland ride. Device. So what this does is you put in your headphones, and I just usually put in one earbud so I can, hear my surroundings with the other ear. And so it'll tell you like when you enter a certain part of the park, like it'll say now entering Fantasyland or wherever. And then it'll describe your surroundings, like your visual surroundings. Like it'll describe the buildings around and what attractions are around and just what things look like. It's really neat. And it also has description on a lot of the rides, like the slow rides. It'll describe like visual things that are going on, which is really cool because a lot of those rides are dark and I can't really see anything that's going on, so it kind of tells the story for me. So it's really cool. It's the first time I've used it and I'm really liking it. We just rode the Haunted Mansion and I've ridden it before, but it's so dark I could never see what was going on, but I used audio description. The ride is creepy as crap. Oh my gosh. That's all I have to say about that. Hey, so we're in Disney California Adventure Park today. Yay.
I wanna see them dancing.
You play the lead song, just fill the drum, walking out the blackfish. You see the snare and the strap, they know where it's at. I know that love is
Aluga, Sabruga, on wings of the Caspian Sea.
How's a poet floating in a blue lagoon?
Well, that's the way I remember it, eh?
Scared.
Raise your hands for clearance.
Okay, what is that thing?
Scan complete.
See, Frozen live. I'm excited. And we got really good
What we would call an e-ticket attraction.
For the first time in forever, there'll be music, there'll be light. Love is an open door. Love is an open door. Let go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I'm one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry.
Winter's a good time to stay in and cuddle, but put me in summer and I'll be a
Happy snowman. Love is an open door. Love is an open door with you, with you.
Alright, we're going to ride, what is this one?
Radiator Springs Race.
Radiator Springs.
It's
We're
supposed,
gonna have to wait a while.
it's supposed to be like the best thing ever.
Here's the line. Just gonna hit them with their stick.
Whack.
To break the spell and set it free.
Huh. What do you think? You still watching it?
Is anything on the screen?
It's over.
Chantez. It is with the greatest pleasure that we will now show you which Disney character is most like you. You are most like, and this is incredible.
What?
There you have it.
This is incredible. I'm not even a princess. So we're at Disneyland today, and I've got on this shirt that has a silver glittery silhouette of Cinderella, and I have on castle leggings. So, perfect outfit. Alright, I have my very first famous Disneyland churro. Went everywhere. Pretty good. It's hot. So we're on the Alice in Wonderland ride and we're stuck. I don't know what's going on. So, just chilling.
All those years outside again, all that time, never even knowing just how blind I've been.
Under the sea, darling, it's bitter, down race weather, take it from me.
Right, I'm trying for the first time the famous Dole Whip. I'm just gonna. It's okay. Just say action.
Action.
We're waiting for the fireworks to start and it's freezing.
Oh. There's Small World.
It's a small world after all. And we've been hearing this music for like an hour while we've been camped out.